security and cyber defense of critical infrastructure, or what we call C3I, C3I Center, C3I Hub at IIT Kanpur. I have been teaching at IIT Kanpur for last almost 8 years now. Before that, for another 13 years, we have had I have been teaching at Virginia Tech in the US. And before that, I was studying there. I was working at Intel Corporation and Verizon Labs after my PhD from State University of New York.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. And at the nexus of cybersecurity and blockchain, you're really kind of at the forefront of emerging technologies for the entire nation, aren't you?
Yeah, so actually, these are some of the important issues that India currently is confronting. One is the blockchain technology. So there is a lot of interest from the government to use blockchain technology for example, in e-governance projects, land and property registration, various kinds of tokenization of assets, and so on and so forth. However, one of the issues that we are facing is the crypto. The crypto currency blockchains. They are facing some kind of a policy deficit, regulation deficit, that we are, there is a lot of controversy and a lot of issues. Also, there are a lot of attacks on the cybersecurity, a lot of cyber attacks on the various blockchains. Like last week, we had actually this week, we had the attack on atomic wallets, $35 million worth of crypto was stolen. There has been a number of attacks, in the last several years, with millions and millions of dollars lost. So cybersecurity of blockchain is and smart contracts. These are very important these days. So together, these things go kind of hand in hand together.
Great. I'm going to just briefly mention Simplilearn and why I'm here with the professor. Simplilearn is the world's #1 online boot camp. We provide a digital platform that provides training in a number of digital skills, and we partner with various universities. With IIT Kanpur, we have several programs of this type, including this blockchain program and a data science program as well. So we've helped 5 million people around the world develop new digital skills for the digital economy. So we're very proud of that. You can see some of the recognition and awards we've received recently. Many more going back over the years. We've been around for over a decade, and so we're very proud to be partnered with IIT Kanpur for this program. And so when we talk about careers in blockchain, Professor, can you give us a kind of a thumbnail of what blockchain is, so that people have, if people aren't familiar with it, they can understand what the technology's purpose is?
Yes. So basically what happens is that in any kind of system, especially financial systems, payment systems, you need a ledger to keep track of the transactions and the balances. So, for example, when you go to a bank, or you have an account in a bank, the bank keeps a ledger of all transactions, all the check payments that you make, ATM withdrawal you make, or deposits you make, and so on. And similarly, when you do digital payments, like for example, UPI or Venmo, etc., there also you see that there has to be a ledger somewhere. So a centralized ledger usually has this problem that you have to trust the purveyor of the ledger, the person who, or the entity that is keeping the ledger, to make every transaction recorded faithfully, correctly, do not change anything or do not delete any of the transactions from the ledger. Now, what happened is that in 2008, there was a banking crisis, and after that, this person, kind of pseudonymous person, Satoshi Nakamoto, he said, let's make a payment system which does not depend on a centralized entity like a bank or the central bank and so on. So he proposed this distributed system in which there would be n number of computers which are called nodes. All these nodes will actually maintain a distributed ledger, a replicated distributed ledger together, and all payments that will be made will be actually broadcast to all the nodes, and this information is then put into what is called in a data structure called blockchain. Now, in this data structure, what happens is all this information that gets broadcast regarding payments or creation of money, all this information will be put together. The ones that happen in close in time with each other, you put them together in a block, and then you actually broadcast that block to everybody. Now the question is, who makes the block? Because there is no centralized entity. Therefore, there has to be a way to decide who makes the block, and whoever makes the block also has to make sure that the transactions are validated. That is, if somebody is sending money to somebody else, then that person has the right amount in its account, etc. So therefore, you have two responsibilities. One is validating the transactions, another is the creation of the blocks. And then these blocks, as they get created and accepted by every node, because every node is keeping a copy of the ledger, so everybody needs to know what new block is created, and so that they can attach it to the current version of the ledger. And so what they do is that they actually create a hash of the previous block and then include that in the new block in order to say that which block is before the new block. So therefore, these links are created. So between any two subsequent blocks, there is a link by actually containing the hash of the previous block. So that's why it's called a blockchain. That is, it's a chain of blocks where the chaining is done by actually keeping the hash of the previous block in the current block. So now blockchain has also inside each block, there is also a data structure. Usually it's a Merkle tree, so that you can actually not only find the transactions, if you want to look for a transaction, you can also make sure that you do not necessarily need the entire set of transactions to actually validate whether a particular transaction is belonging to a block. So that's the idea of a Merkle tree. You usually use the Merkle root to do that. So there is a lot of cryptography and lot of data structure and distributed algorithms that are involved in creating a blockchain. So blockchain is, but if you want to think about it simply, it's a ledger that is replicated across many nodes. Replication gives you the resilience, because if the ledger is only in one place and that place becomes unresponsive or become compromised by a cyber attack, then you cannot access the ledger. But if the ledger is replicated across thousands of nodes, then you can always access the ledger even if a few of them gets compromised. Second thing is that once you put some transaction data in a block and you have created further blocks, then the original block's data cannot be altered because of the hash connection between the with the subsequent blocks, because in order to change something in one block, the other blocks have to actually have to be changed also, which is a onerous work, because deciding which should be the next block is an expensive proposition. You have to do a consensus algorithm to actually add a new block. So therefore, retroactively changing a block would mean that you have to recompute everything, which is a very expensive task. And therefore, you have this tamper resistance. You cannot tamper the data that is already in the ledger. You have the replication, which allows you to actually have the resilience to cyber attacks or any kind of accidental compromise of the nodes that contain the ledgers. And you also have the cryptographic properties that allows you to link the blocks to each other. So there is a lot of different properties that you get from the blockchain way of keeping track of transactions, validating transactions, and also making sure that there is no transactions that become replicated, that is replayed, or any money is double spent. You can actually stop those kind of possibilities of digital transactions. So in short, blockchain is kind of a new way of keeping track of transactions. Stuart, are you there? I think we lost you.
Had that same issue, just a moment. And let me go back. So thank you for that, Professor. I appreciate that. And blockchain, we talk about blockchain transforming the digital economy. You talked about cryptocurrency, you talked about contract supply chains. What are a number of the different kinds of areas within the economy that are in our daily lives that are going to be affected by blockchain?
Yeah, so for one of the first usage of blockchain, of course, was Bitcoin, which is a cryptocurrency. Then soon after that, it was felt by some people that Bitcoin is not versatile enough, other than making payments and micropayments. So there was this idea of smart contracts that started the Ethereum blockchain. And then soon after that, people started also worrying about the volatility of cryptocurrency, their prices, and also various kinds of criminal usage of cryptocurrency. So then people started also thinking about permission blockchains. So permission blockchains like Hyperledger, they came into existence. And then there was also the blockchain that are not really a chain of blocks, that are slightly different, like IOTA, which is a directed acyclic graph structure. Those kind of blockchains came in, and each of these kind of things have different usage. For example, Bitcoin is mostly used for supposed to be used for payments, but it's less used for payments, but rather used as investment, gambling, because of the price volatility, etc. Ethereum, on the other hand, is much more versatile. It has the ability to make distributed programs which execute autonomically, and also you can create various kinds of tokens You can do asset tokenization. You can do art tokenization through, for example, non-fungible tokens. So there is a lot of different usage that came about because of smart contracts. And so we see the usage in, for example, land record registry. We have seen usage in supply chain automation. We have seen usage in various kinds of other kinds of payments like central bank digital currency. And also there are many other ways, like, for example, keeping logs of what happens on computer systems in order to ensure that the intruders or the attackers do not necessarily delete or obliterate their footprints. So there are many applications of blockchain. So the idea is that usually data when we have a very complex process, like if you think about interbank payments like NEFT or RTGS, or if you think about a supply chain, data is usually in multiple different systems, and the databases are in silos. So therefore, the visibility, if you have an application that goes through the entire set of systems that are involved in the business process, usually if you want to create an application that involves all these different systems, if the data is in silos and each system is independent, then what will happen is that there will be friction in terms of how the data moves through the transactions to create an entire business process flow. So blockchain, on the other hand, gives rise to actually a much smoother, and we say it reduces the friction, or it smoothens the business process by creating some kind of a common medium of information exchange and keeping track of activities or transactions. And that basically gives rise to all these different kinds of applications.
All right, thank you again. And let's move on. So you need a set of skills for blockchain. Let's see if I've got that here. Yeah, we can skip over this one here. We'll move into the size of the market, and we're going to look at just to give people an orientation to the opportunities that are here in blockchain. When you look in salaries in India, for example, if you start as a blockchain developer, it's a fairly good living. But if you move up in your skills to blockchain engineer, it's a very good living, isn't it?
Yeah, but I don't know. This is from Glassdoor, because this looks rather low, because I don't know if you can hire a blockchain engineer for 3 lakhs. I mean, I assume this is annual salary. The annual salary 3 lakhs, you will not get a blockchain engineer usually. Maybe 7 lakhs, maybe more like it for very new entrant. But I think some of the blockchain engineers are very expensive. Now these numbers, so these are annual salary for blockchain engineers in India. So I'm not sure about the salaries, but I think that this is more like a lower bound type of salary that we are seeing here.
Yeah, the one thing about Glassdoor is it lists what people, the job listings are what people are asking for. And so, like you said, you may not be able to get, if you're an employer, you may not be able to hire somebody for 3 lakh. You may be starting at the much higher level. So these opportunities here are even better than what the graphs imply. The
Hmm.
growth of the market is incredible. 67% compound annual growth rate in the blockchain market, meaning that every year, within 2 years, the market doubles or triples.
Mhm.
And the number of people who are experts in blockchain currently is, relatively speaking, very small. But the
Yeah.
number of companies and organizations that need blockchain
Mhm.
is growing exponentially. Is that a fair thing to say?
Yes. So right now, a lot of investors, they actually are investing heavily in Web3, metaverse, and crypto type of businesses, also the decentralized finance businesses. And that's why there is a hot job market in the blockchain cryptocurrency Web3 space. Uh, that that that's why we see also this growth. Uh, this growth is mostly startup driven, although large MNCs, the Ernst and Young or KPMG or PwC, they are also having lots of blockchain projects. Most of which are in the pilot phases. They are not necessarily all production, but I think that there is a good growth right now in the blockchain space.
Okay. And uh, again, looking at companies that have active job listings out in the world right now, um, these are all companies that are looking to hire blockchain developers. Tata to IBM, Infosys, Wipro, Accenture, Bosch. It's a spectrum across different industries. It's not just people in or companies in high tech, but also industrial companies and other other sectors. Correct?
Right. So, but one thing that people should understand is that you have to be good at it, right, to get these jobs. Just because you went through a certificate program and eventually got the certificate doesn't mean that you'll be hired. You have to be good at it. You have to pass the interviews. You have to maybe also they might ask you to do some coding exercise before they hire you. So jobs are plenty, but you have to be good. They're not fools sitting there to just look at just the certificate and say, okay, you are hired. You have to prove yourself by passing the interview. And what that means is that you have to learn what is being taught, what is being covered. You have to do the exercises, and you have to do a lot of reading, lot of understanding of the architectures of the smart contract uh, design patterns. You have to try out various, and trying out is very easy because there are so many open source systems available where you can set up your own Ethereum blockchain, or you set up your own Hyperledger at your on your own laptop, and you can create various kinds of applications easily. So you have to do those things before you go for a job. So I think that that is people must understand that it's not like you just get a job because you have been through a course.
Yeah, and the other aspect of that is that if you enroll in a course like this one, that you have to apply yourself for it. So I mean, you have to put in the effort. This is not um, not a trivial exercise. It requires a commitment of time and it requires a commitment of effort. So it's really for
Yeah.
people who are very interested and very dedicated to the area. You're going to learn. You're going to need to learn a lot of different technologies to be effective in blockchain roles. So why
Right.
is it? Why is it, for example, that you would start with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency as as kind of a foundation for this area, and then what are the other tools here for?
Yeah, so Bitcoin was the first instance of a blockchain where all the ideas that are fundamental to the idea of blockchain, that is the replication of a ledger, creation of a ledger with hash pointers or hash links, creation of data structure like Merkle tree inside the blocks, consensus mechanism, although the Bitcoin's consensus mechanism is very energy wasting, a consensus mechanism called proof of work, so which is usually being abandoned by most blockchains now. But it gives you the concept like why we need consensus, what it means to actually achieve consensus, what it means to add a new block, what it means to validate transactions, what it means to get a reward for creating the new block. How do all the copies of the block of the blockchain which are actually maintained by individual nodes come into sync with eventual consistency? All these concepts are common to all blockchains, right? So Bitcoin is kind of like a I would say a poster boy of blockchain or quintessential properties of a blockchain is in Bitcoin. So even if you are not interested in cryptocurrency, you actually want to study the architecture, the mechanism, and the way Bitcoin transactions work, how transactions are stored, and everything. Once you have done that, you have a very good idea about how the blockchain works, what it is, what advantages it has over any other kind of centralized kind of ledger. So you get all that, but what you don't get is programmability. Bitcoin has a very I would say limited programmability with Bitcoin scripting, and that is actually as we speak, Bitcoin people are actually changing a lot of it, so they are trying to bring in more programmability. But usually for learning programmability, once you have finished understanding Bitcoin well, you move to Ethereum.
Okay. And so I'm going to ask the audience another question here. And because everybody's here to find out about blockchain, about certification, and becoming proficient as a blockchain professional, what has stopped you from doing that up to this point? So you in the audience, why have you not taken a program of this type so far? And I'll leave this open just for another 5 seconds. You can pick more than one answer, of course. And we'll close this in 3, 2, 1. And here's the result. So the biggest concern, Professor, for the folks in our audience is not getting practical experience through a course of this type. They've looked at other courses, and the idea of being able to do the lessons but not having anything to show off as practical experience is a problem for people. And finding a program that's completely comprehensive has also been something that they've been looking for and haven't found. So can we comment on what makes this program different, how it meets those kinds of concerns?
Well, yeah. So see, the fully comprehensive, which see, this is a very evolving field. So, for example, now Bitcoin, for example, has a way to actually create tokens, which isn't the case, wasn't the case even a year ago. Things are happening as we speak. So there are layer 2 blockchains. There are zero knowledge way of doing things. There are privacy enhancing transaction blockchains like Monero. So things are evolving all the time. So finding a comprehensive curriculum, will not be possible, because by the time you are comprehensive, the field has moved ahead. So what we try to do here in this curriculum is to actually make sure that the fundamentals of basic knowledge of how blockchain works, why it is useful, where it is useful, then how to write smart contracts and how to build applications based on smart contracts on, for example, Ethereum, and then how to actually create, how to create the permission blockchains like Hyperledger Fabric installation, and then how to create applications on Hyperledger Fabric, and then introduction to other types of blockchains like Coda, R3 Coda, or IOTA. These are the kind of things that we are trying to focus on, so that anybody who gets a good understanding and knowledge of these, they can pick up as the technology progresses, and it is progressing very fast and very very thoroughly. So over time we actually evolve the curriculum also. For example, very soon we'll be introducing layer 2 blockchains and tokenizations, this kind of concepts, which are basically outgrowth of all this. So that is something that we have tried to do in this core curriculum. The other thing is that through the monthly masterclass, we try to introduce to some most recent active happenings in this space, which actually are beyond the curriculum, but you should be aware of those kind of stuff. There are labs and hands-on projects for actually doing things and learning by doing, which is important. The live classes with industry expert instructors who are actually doing this for a living, the blockchain development, blockchain application development. And I guess any like any other online certification program, it's flexible. You have the videos, you can watch them as many times as you want, and these kind of advantages are also an addition.
Yeah, and it's interesting the distinction you made between. Hold on a second. Zoom is doing it to me again. I'm going to have to troubleshoot this after the session, but back. Sorry about that. And we will get back to our program here. So I was going to say, it's interesting that you draw the distinction in what is a comprehensive program. Comprehensive, this program, professional certification program, blockchain, in 4 months, you're going to get the foundation that Dr. Shukla described in the different aspects of blockchain, its uses, the technology behind it, and have a foundation to deal with any new technologies that come in the future. Is that a fair description? from what you said?
Yeah. So that's the idea, that this technology is evolving every month. So you have to have your fundamentals strong, your basic strong. You have to have the ability to uh, uh, write applications on blockchain. You have to have the ability to understand the blockchain code, and you have to have the ability to create your own local blockchain installation to try out various applications, try the test nets and so on. So these are the kind of things that will put you in a position to actually evolve as the technology evolves.
Yep. And so that's done through hands-on labs, through hands-on projects and exercises that are done on the same digital platform, correct?
Yeah, that's my understanding.
Yes. And so you get a combination of live virtual classrooms where your instructor will take you through the examples and the projects. You'll also have the ability, Professor said, to do the projects and to use the preparation materials like the pre-recorded videos between classes anytime during the week, 24/7. So it's flexible in that respect. It allows you to do the work on your schedule, and you need to be able to devote the time. You need to be able to put in, an hour or so a day during the week between classes in order to be able to absorb this material within 4 months. But if you apply yourself, then you end up with the certificate from IIT Kanpur. You've had over 70 hours of applied learning, and you've done a number of projects, including a final capstone project. And as you said, Dr. Master classes expose you to things outside of the curriculum that are emerging fields and emerging topics in blockchain, right? Yeah. So let's move on. Can you tell us why, the fact that this is the home to the Indian National Blockchain Project is a big factor, but what are the other reasons that IIT Kanpur is the best place for people to take on this kind of?
So blockchain technology is rather new, like, although it started in 2009, but not until 2013, 14, 15, it started becoming kind of mainstream. And then, but even then it was more cryptocurrency oriented and not so much on other kinds of application oriented. At that point, the government contacted us and asked us to funded us to create this national blockchain project, which is meant for developing e-governance applications based on blockchain, where trust is an issue. So we have done, for example, land record registry blockchain for government of Karnataka. An e-procurement blockchain. We have done self-sovereign identity blockchain. We have done, for example, the transferable property rights on blockchain for the city, one city. So we have done this kind of things, and then we have had multiple other research projects, including a cryptocurrency monitoring and cryptocurrency investigation tool that we have developed. So having done that, we think that IIT Kanpur is uniquely positioned in India to actually as one of the place where blockchain technology is being taken up as a research subject, as well as an educational subject, as well as for industrialization or use of them, making use of blockchain in various real world applications. So therefore, IIT Kanpur is probably the only one institute in India which has that kind of experience and background in blockchain technology. This course actually is, curriculum is designed by IIT Kanpur, but the delivery is done by industrial engineers who actually use blockchain on a day-to-day basis. IIT Kanpur provides the master classes where the IIT Kanpur faculty and staff would give, monthly class on various emerging aspects of blockchain technology. And IIT Kanpur is also a very good brand name in India and abroad. That also helps.
Thank you. And yeah, I would say that I'm not aware, but my knowledge may be personally limited, but I'm not aware of many other institutions around the world that have this type of depth of research and application experience in blockchain. And you made a good point that the delivery of the courses involves people who work in industry. So it's not just academic lectures that you go through. You're going to get guidance and mentorship from people who use blockchain technology in real world applications. So when they're taking you through the labs and exercises, they can give you insights on how these things work out in the real world. Now, to be in this program, you do need to have some basic understanding of mathematics because there are certain mathematics and statistics principles behind blockchain. You need to have a basic understanding of Java. And you need to have a bachelor's degree with 50% marks or higher, but you do not need to have work experience. So this is for everyone from new graduates on up through experienced professionals. So have you seen, in your experience, have you seen people who are fresh out of a degree program come into a program like this and be successful? Are they able to keep up with the material and follow it?
Yeah, so if you have a good programming background or computer science background, then certainly, this this is a good, you have a good chance of succeeding in a program like this. If you do not have the programming background, your mathematics is not at least, understand, you do not understand basic, some of the basic functions and so on, then you might have a problem. But for IT, computer science background students who just graduated, it may be, they can actually succeed very well. People who have programming experience in the industry, but not necessarily have a computer science degree, but they are doing programming for a while, for them also this would be ideal. So people without some programming background, some mathematics, it's going to be hard.
Yeah, it's different from some of the other programs that Simplilearn offers with IIT Kanpur and other institutions, where the program is designed to give you the fundamentals of digital skills, programming skills as part of the program. This is a 4-month program that's focused intensely on blockchain, so you need to come in with that background, with those skills, in order to be able to come up to speed. So I want to make sure that everyone understands that. But if you have that background, again, whether it's academic or whether it's from experience in industry, and you have your bachelor's degree, this is a program that you can definitely succeed in. So, like I said, it's available to people who are freshers and people who are experienced professionals as well. On that last point, though, is this a good program for people who have been working in other aspects of digital technology and then want to add blockchain or pivot into blockchain as a field of concentration?
Well, that depends on what their goal is. So if the goal is to actually understand, they are like kind of at the managerial level, but they are seeing their products and methodologies based on blockchain are coming up in their organization, and they need to know how blockchain works, what is involved in blockchain, what are smart contracts, how what is the transaction validation, what is consensus, all that stuff. They can do it, but then they may not be able to do the application development, hands-on activities that requires programming. It's a smart contract development and front-end development and so on. But they get the understanding required for them to manage blockchain based product development and things like that, but they won't be able to do it on their own hands-on. Yeah.
And if someone's been working in, for example, as a full stack web developer, and their company is coming to them and saying, we're starting to get into areas that are going to require blockchain technology, that would be a type of person who'd be able
a full stack web developer is knows programming well, so that for them it's not a problem.
Right. Okay. So we're going to briefly talk about how the program prepares you. The way we design the program, the way IIT Kanpur put together the curriculum, is in a stepwise fashion to give you the basics, and each level prepare you to learn more. And so, as you can see here, there's like 8 modules. After the induction session takes a couple of hours. It's online, and it orients you to how to use the online platform, what to expect in the curriculum, when your classes are going to be, and all of the things that you would get in a freshman orientation, so to speak. But after that, then you move into blockchain and Bitcoin. And again, told us that Bitcoin is the first implementation of blockchain. So this is the reason why it's the introduction foundation for this staircase.
Yes. So as I have explained earlier, that Bitcoin has all the quintessential properties, quintessential features of blockchain. So blockchain technology kind of germinated with Bitcoin. So that's why understanding Bitcoin very thoroughly is very important to get started with blockchain. So then you go into more, what we call blockchain 2.0, which is Ethereum and smart contracts. Then you go into those, and then you go into Hyperledger as permission blockchain. Then you go into developing applications, but we also do a little bit of coverage of other alternatives. Just to give you an idea that this Bitcoin and Ethereum and Hyperledger are not the only way to do blockchain. So we talk about CODA, IOTA.
And then you move into the actual real world application of the blockchain, examples of those, and that culminates with a capstone project where you're given each learner is given a challenge or a set of challenges to choose from that describe kind of a problem that a business would need to solve using blockchain technology. This business wants to achieve this particular type of result, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But that's several weeks in its own, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you work with a mentor, one of your instructors, who will make sure, meeting with you weekly, that your project is on track. But it's something you build and something that then you can show off to prospective employers or to your current employer to justify why you took this course and why it's qualified you to do better work and different work in the future. And then the elective master classes means that you can take them as you wish. They're not an additional cost. They're included in the cost of the program. But Dr. Shukla said that it's well worth making the time for those, because you get exposure to new technologies, new concepts. So it adds a lot of flavor and depth to the program. So some of the projects that you're going to be working on, developing smart contracts, we're working with Hyperledger Fabric, the Ethereum wallet. So in these cases, you're actually implementing pieces of a solution on that digital platform, right? You've got the tools that you need. You've got access to these different platforms and
Yeah,
programs. Yeah, and then on that platform, on the learning management system itself, you can fire up the lab, the virtual machine that's assigned to you, and through your web browser, access it, do the work, turn it in for credit, and this is how the program gives you that hands-on experience, correct?
right.
And as you had said in an earlier session of this, you have to get your hands dirty in this kind of field in order to be able
Yeah,
to.
I mean, yeah, I mean, if you take, let's say, a Python programming course, if you do not do hands-on, and if you do not practice even beyond what is done as homework, you are not going to become a power Python programmer. Nobody is going to hire you just because you took the course. You have to be master it.
Yeah, and that's why it's important that what you do in this program, becomes part of your portfolio. And
Right.
the more you can build up that portfolio, the better better off you are. This includes the capstone project, which is
Yeah.
being able to choose out of the different industry domains and do that project over several weeks. That again is it's something you can point to and say, "I built this,"
Mhm.
um, rather than just following a formula. But you're then able to show that off. That's fairly impressive to employers, isn't it? The idea that you can then
Yes.
show a project that you've done.
Yes, so yeah, so you have to do this, see, if you want to do a capstone project, you have to first build the understand the requirements of the project, because these are you choose a domain, and then you are given a, sort of a statement, a very short statement about what your solution is supposed to solve. But that doesn't mean that you actually can just sit down and code a few things and it's solved. You have to actually capture the requirements in terms of what features the solution should have, what kind of requirements in terms of whether it should be permissioned or permissionless, what kind of autonomy should be there in that. Depending on that, you will choose the blockchain platform. Like, are you going to choose Hyperledger? Are you going to choose Ethereum? Then depending on that, what kind of smart contracts or chain codes you are going to write. So all this, you're basically going through an entire life cycle of software development in kind of like in a short
Yeah,
this thing. So
yeah, that's
therefore, yeah, so therefore, I think that this is going to be a very important part of it. You have to do it honestly. You have to do it without help, without, some help in terms of advice and stuff is fine, but you have to do it on your own, so that you can, if required, if the employer wants you to do something on the spot, you should be able to do that.
yeah. Uh, Relying on Chat GPT to answer your homework
Yeah,
is not going to help you there.
correct,
um,
correct.
so here are some of the people who teach courses for us. Vivek is a blockchain developer who's been in this field for 12 years. Prasanth for 6. Prasanth is also an adjunct professor. So these are people who have industry experience as well as skills in instruction. So this is the reason why the courses are so effective, because we work with people of this caliber. Have you seen this kind of instruction in action, Professor?
No, I haven't attended their classes, but I hear So every so often I get a message on my LinkedIn from people who finished this course, and they say good things about this faculty, but I haven't had a chance to sit through their lectures.
I do want to mention again that you're the program director, and so this curriculum meets your requirements and the requirements of IIT Kanpur. This is the reason why the signature on the certificate comes from IIT Kanpur. So you can put, for somebody who's completed the certificate, you can honestly say that they have mastered these basic skill sets in blockchain, correct?
Well, if somebody has done all the required homeworks, projects, and capstone project, and so on, it is likely that they would be good at what they have learned. But there would be degrees of differences between one from the other. Some would have put a lot more efforts beyond the classroom during the off hours, using the LMS at their leisure time to try out different things and so on. And some are just doing the minimum. So there will be a degree of difference between them. But yeah, I mean, at least hopefully when the instructors recommend to me that this person should be certified and I should sign the certificate, it is assumed that they actually have done the they have satisfied the minimum requirements in terms of assessment.
And then, as you pointed out, success in the field means going beyond the minimum and applying yourself. You have the opportunity to do that within the course, but also after the course.
Right.
The Simplilearn community, and one of the reasons why IIT Kanpur chose to partner with us is because we provide a support system, an ecosystem of support for our learners. So we have a program manager on our side who works with Dr. Shukla in order to keep the program on track, the curriculum updated. We have a cohort manager who will coordinate with you and everyone else who joined the program at the same time as you. The instructors, of course, are key to your success, but then you have the ability to interact with your peers, the people who are in your cohort with you, and the curriculum and the resources are, of course, designed to support you and on track. The learning management system itself will prompt you to stay on track, remind you of class times, keep track of your progress and your successes. So this entire environment is designed to help you succeed as a learner. So I'll just briefly describe the LMS to you. It allows you to manage your curriculum, lets you see your full learning path. It gives you the platform for your live virtual classrooms, your labs and projects. You can take your tests and assessments. You complete each module. It's the platform on which you do your capstone project. And again, it tracks your progress, unlocks the completion certificates for each module of the course, and the final certificate when you have earned it through completing the capstone project, and a variety of support tools from the user community where you can post questions and get answers from your instructors and peers, to 24/7 support where you can raise issues or ask questions from our help desk. And all of that is on the same digital platform. And talk about learner outcomes. So people come into this program from a wide variety of backgrounds, don't they, Professor?
Yeah.
People
So
coming from
mostly,
different industries.
yeah. So mostly people in payment industry and banking are more, but then other industry also we see some industry more than the others. But yeah, and they come from different industries, different backgrounds.
And that gives you an opportunity to kind of network with your peers and your cohort, so you can learn a number of different things. We'll send you a link to this video. I don't want to interrupt by playing it right now, but this is Ashwin who took on this program in order to solve some business problems for his clients and within his own business, and he was able then to essentially upskill in blockchain, and even during the course of the program, he was able to solve a challenge involving Hyperledger Fabric, choosing the right platform for his company. So even as he was in the middle of the program, he was applying what he learned. And as I said, I'll send you a link in your follow-up email to this video. You'll be able to see his story. We also want to remind you, that for 6 months after you complete the certificate, Simplilearn sponsors you for job assist services. If you happen to be taking a course of this type in order to find new employment, these services will be invaluable. They give you access to the IIM jobs portal for 6 months, premium level. They give you assistance in rewriting your resume to be able to pass through the AI bots that screen resumes these days, but also remain attractive and interesting to the human beings who will see them. And one-on-one interview preparation for everything from phone screens to the technical interviews to the cultural fit and work ethic interviews that you have to pass in order to get a new job or a promotion. So that, again, is available to you for 6 months after the end of the program, after your certificate's issued. So again, recapping, the program's designed for your success. It's complete and thorough, as the professor described, with the qualification that it's complete and thorough foundation, grounding in the basics, and it's flexible. So with that, we'd like to ask, are you interested in joining this program? So launch this. And we'll leave this open for about 10 more seconds because it's a yes or no question. Please get your answers in. Close the poll in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and ending the poll. So more than 80% of the people who responded said yes, they're interested. Let's share with you the important aspects of how to get started. First question, and we've been receiving a number of questions in the chat about cost of the program. Cost of the program is 1,69,000 rupee. It is 5,751 per month for EMI financing. And we have mentioned the bonus offer for attending this webinar. If you enroll for the program after this webinar, you will receive 10% off the program fees. That applies to joining within the next cohort or two. I'll talk about the timing of that. But again, this is our thank you for being here with us with the professor this evening. And you can reach out to us at askus@simplilearn.net. I will put that into the chat later because as you've seen, every time I move over to another application to copy something, Zoom punishes me. So I'll put that link in toward the end of the webinar. You do email us at askus@simplilearn.net. What we'll do is we'll review your application, verify your bachelor's degree, do a brief assessment of your knowledge of mathematics and programming, make sure that you're able to succeed in this program. We do not want to enroll you and have you invest your time and money if you're not able and willing to put in the effort and have the skills and background to succeed. So we do not accept everyone who applies. And we also have to limit our cohort sizes to about 30 people in order to make sure the instructors can give sufficient attention to each. When we say the next cohort, which starts in a couple of weeks, in fact, less than 2 weeks from now, that cohort you should sign up for right away if this is of interest to you, because it will fill up. And the induction session, that online session to get you oriented, will be on the 14th, with classes starting on the 17th. Class schedule is usually weekends, isn't it, Professor? Is that the
Yeah.
way? Yeah. So we get 4 hours on Saturday, 4 hours on Sunday. Not every course, not every module has live instruction. Some of them you do by self-learning and online assessments. But for the modules with live instruction, and again, 70 hours of instruction over the course of the program. So you do need to be able to attend on Saturday and Sunday, 4 hours each. And then you have any time during the week between to do the other assignments. For those of you who said you are interested, seen the other details about the program, how soon are you planning to enroll? I believe it's open again for about 10 more seconds. I'll close this in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And some of you are interested in joining maybe in July or August. And for those of you looking further out in the future, please do contact us. Email us at askus@simplilearn.net, and I will share that with you in a bit, so that we can keep you in touch and advise you of future cohorts. So let's go to the questions and answers now. Appreciate your patience. And we have a question from Arch, who says, I studied mathematics at the 10th level, studied statistics and computer science at the graduate and postgraduate level. Am I eligible? Did you say that's a good background for this program, Professor?
So computer science at the postgraduate level?
Yeah.
Yes. So I think so, because although I'm not exactly sure what he means by having math up to 10th grade and then doing computer science at the postgraduate level. I'm not sure. If I think you need math in the 12th grade to do computer science at the bachelor's level. But if he has done computer science and programming at the PG level, then I think he should be eligible.
Yeah, and he says he studied statistics as well in the collegiate level. Gishan had a number of questions about different aspects of blockchain. Things like, is blockchain going to have a role in the metaverse? An interesting question.
Yes, well, the idea of metaverse is based on augmented and virtual reality. But then people are actually creating this simulated worlds in which you can actually buy properties. You can buy even clothes and stuff for your avatars. These are usually done through NFT, non-fungible tokens, and that's where blockchain comes in. So yes, metaverse has the most, and then there are also decentralized metaverses like Decentraland. So yeah, blockchain has things in the has intersection with metaverse ideas. You can have fully centralized metaverse, but you can people are thinking of more decentralized metaverse and NFTs as a important component of metaverse.
We had a question from an anonymous attendee who is a company secretary with about 20 years of experience without any computer background or experience. And so this is a person who wouldn't be eligible for the course as it stands right now. What would you advise that person if they wanted to qualify for this course? What kinds of preparation could they take, or is this something that they would have had to have covered in their college education?
Well, you need programming in this. So it depends on your goal. I mean, if your goal is to actually be not a blockchain developer, but to understand blockchain, to understand cryptocurrency, to understand tokens, asset tokenization, and so on, you can take this course, but you will not become a developer. So you have to keep that in mind, that when hands-on stuff will be going on, you might be actually feeling lost. But overall conceptualization of the fundamentals, the concepts of cryptocurrency, concepts of tokenization, this kind of stuff you will learn. So it depends on what your goal is. I mean, if your goal is to transform yourself into a blockchain developer, that is going to be difficult. I wouldn't advise. But if you are just learning blockchain for for enhancing your skills as as you in your regular work, then it is possible through this course. But mostly the idea is to create more blockchain development skills.
Yeah, and so in order to prepare for a course like this, you would want to take preparatory courses, learning programming concepts and practicing programming. Some of those are available. For example, Simplilearn has a number of basic courses for that. But again, you'd have to apply yourself to those and complete those, and include the statistics and mathematics side as well, so that you had the grounding to succeed in the course, because you wouldn't want to come into it cold without that background. Arjun has a question. He's Master's of Science in Food Technology. So let us assume that Arjun has some programming background, and as a food technologist has mathematics and statistics background. What kinds of applications are there for blockchain in that industry?
Yeah, so supply chain, cold chain, these are important, places where we have seen blockchain applications. For example, Walmart worked with IBM to create a produce supply chain blockchain. During the pandemic, there was, COVID vaccination cold chain tracking on blockchain. So I'm sure there are places in food technology where blockchain might be appropriate. But the question is whether people are actually using it in food technology or companies in India or abroad. I'm not aware. I'm not sure. So if your goal is to actually learn blockchain technology to go pivot from food technology to Web3 blockchain development jobs, then it makes sense. But if you want to do this in food technology itself, you need to do a little bit of research on whether this is already, there are companies in food technology which are using blockchain, hiring in blockchain. Otherwise, you might not be happy.
Okay. Thank you. I think that's all the time let me see if there's a last question. Thank you from Arjun for answering that. So, and here's a quick question. Can you provide some insight in the difference between a blockchain developer and a blockchain engineer?
Well, it depends. It's a nomenclature. One may or may not like. What is the difference between a computer scientist and computer engineer? It depends on who you ask. For example, a blockchain developer presumably does application development, writes smart contracts, write full stack web development to provide front end to the application, etc. A blockchain engineer might be the one who is actually developing the blockchain infrastructure, setting up nodes, setting up the networking, setting up the security of the blockchain nodes, this kind of stuff.
Yeah, and that kind of follows the pattern of the developer who has the environment and the infrastructure set up and creates applications within it, and then the engineer who at the higher level helps to create, design, build the infrastructure and the platform that developers will use. So with that, let's move to the last question for the audience, and is for those of you who are interested in enrollment. Would you like us to reach out to you directly and help you get started, answer questions? So if you need any assistance, let us know. Leave this open for another 5 seconds because it's a yes or no question. We'll close this now. And some of you would like us to reach out to you, so we will do that after this webinar. You should expect to be contacted by a learning consultant if you answered yes to that question. And that'll happen within the next day or so. We thank you for your interest. We thank you for being here. Thank you, Professor Shukla, for being here and sharing with us your knowledge and your insights, your expertise. Very patient and very generous with your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And this QR code will take you to our website. I'm going to put into the chat the email address and the web URL for the program page. And if Zoom kicks me off one last time, I will say thank you for being here. We appreciate everyone taking time out of their day of the evening to be with us. Here we go. So you can see in the chat that email address and that URL. And we hope we can welcome you all into the learning community with IIT Kanpur and Simplilearn. So thank you all very much.